time we were having lot of good sites. So we have constructed a number of projects there. But now, in today's time, when you people are after that getting degree, you will go for doing some job as a civil engineer. You will see that now you have to select sites for water resource projects is a little bit difficult. That difficulty that challenge you can face by using spatial and uh, GIS remote sensing informations through modeling activities. So as we you all know that when we design that projects, we require some firm yield. How much water will come to our that point where we are going to construct a reservoir? We want this, and for irrigation projects, it is 75% of yield is required. But for power generation, 90. At the same time, drinking purposes, we require absolute water that is always be available. So near about 90%, 99%. Similarly, peak runoff is also needed for design of cross drainage work spillway. So, as I think that you all might be knowing that what is runoff. Runoff is nothing but it is that how much amount of water is coming at any point with a fixed point of time, or at a rate. What is the rate? At what rate water is coming to a point, that is called runoff. And this runoff, when we accumulate for a period, generally for a year, it is called yield. So how much water in a year is coming to a point, that is called yield. And for this, what we require very long-term runoff series. Means whenever you go for design, you have to have runoff data at that site. So what problem we are facing as a water resource engineers in the country, that we are having very limited sites. And most of the time what happens, the site where we want to construct a reservoir, we do not have any runoff data. If some data is available, they are not long term, because for any study, for that determination of runoff yield, we require at least 30 years of data. And these 30 years of data are very rarely available. These data are having gaps. But sometimes what happens, you are having data of any nearby site of interest where you want to construct any reservoir or dam. Data is not available, but it is available for any nearby site. But sometimes what happens, no data is available, either on the site of interest or at the same time nearby site. In this condition, what we
Voice.
can do? Voice is coming?
Yes, yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
But
Okay.
what happens that runoff rainfall data? Are you getting voice?
Yes, sir. Everything is right.
Okay. So what happens, that rainfall data is easily available. These data are available for each block level. These all are requested to please mute your phone. Actually, mute your volume, because otherwise your voice is also coming. So please mute your either from phone, or if you are taking from that laptop, so please mute. So the solution is, we can go for rainfall runoff modeling. Rainfall runoff modeling, what rainfall runoff modeling do? Rainfall runoff model develops relationship between rainfall and runoff. It is not just like we see in our daily life to life that actors or actress or models. They are not that type of models, but they mimic the actual field situation with the help of some programs and some mathematical relationship. Similar type of models can also be used for sediment transport, crop yield, floods, flood analysis, water quality modeling, and other management purposes. So these models we can use for mainly rainfall runoff model, and we generate data from rainfall. That is our primary aim. in case of rainfall runoff modeling. So if we talk about that rainfall runoff model, so we must know what the process is taking off in the nature, because nature is very complex. We cannot model at all that nature in complete sense, because we do not know what will happen. If a rainfall of we say that 10 mm is coming, sometimes for a watershed it will give a runoff of 1 mm, and sometimes it will give no runoff, and sometimes it can give even 8 mm runoff. So this process is very much complex. You can see here in that picture that whenever a rainfall comes to the ground, first it will intercepted by all these trees and canopies. Then a part is infiltrated, and during that infiltration, it percolate, and it either go base flow, and some part goes as a interflow, and ultimately, and some part is directly through surface runoff, and we will get that surface or runoff and base flow as a part of runoff at the outlet of watershed. And we want to develop that relationship between rainfall and runoff. So here you can see that there are a lot of factors which affects runoff. So these factors are, first is rainfall characteristics. So what is the intensity, what is the total amount of rainfall, direction of rainfall. Then meteorological factor. Meteorological factors are what is their humidity, what is temperature, wind speeds. All these factors also affect. Watershed factors involve topography, soil, and what is land use, land cover. So all these watershed factors also affect runoff. And last one is the storage characteristic. So if there are some dams, small dams in the watershed, then you will get less runoff at the outlet. So all these factors because these factors are spatially distributed. Number of factors are distributed spatially. They also change with time also, because sometimes what happens, your soil initially is dry, but when rain comes, soil becomes wet and its infiltration will decrease. So all these factors affect on the time scale of time and space, and that's why that whenever we do some rainfall runoff modeling, this remote sensing and GIS, they are very useful in this, because number of information, spatial information we can get with the help of GIS, where remote sensing data. I think students are knowing this, that what is remote sensing and GIS. So GIS is Geographical Information System, in which all these data we can link with some geographical latitude and longitude, and in that GIS, all these computation of determination of area, volume, etc. can be done. And remote sensing is that tools we can use to get informations without touching any objects from a height, and number of satellites are there. They can be used to get informations of the Earth's surface. So what is hydrological model? So these hydrological models are essentially the representation of physical, chemical, biological, all the processes, what is happening in the catchment with, through some hydrological process. So in this modeling, we give some input. Our aim is to get output, because we do not know runoff. We do not know what is sediment yield. But what we know what is the rainfall. I have earlier told that rainfall is easily available. So what we do in this model, all the process, what is happening through infiltration, percolation, surface flow, that is given in the form of some equations. And these equations solve this solve this process, all the processes, and it gives us the runoff. So this is the process that happens through some models. These models may be simple, the model may be complex. Simple in the sense that we just directly can develop linear relationship between rainfall and runoff. This is very simple model. But what happens, the process is not that simple. If it is simple, there is no need of any water resource engineers and scientists like me. This process is very difficult. That's why some specialization is required. And I suggest that all these students who are joining this webinar, they must understand what is models, because nowadays water resource departments, all water resource departments are focusing for rainfall runoff modeling for their preparation of DPRs for any projects, because runoff data they are not having or having very limited, so they go for all these rainfall runoff modeling. And we taught number of engineers of Madhya Pradesh for rainfall runoff modeling. So in one way, all these models are wrong. Why I am saying this wrong? Because they do not give exact picture. Why they do not give exact picture? Because this process is complex. Sometimes some parts either we do not know, sometimes we could not taken care in this model, so they do not give exact results. That's why they are model. Otherwise, it is real. So they give wrong information, but this information is useful, because from this we can get further more information. And model can be used that used for development of relationship between input and output, and at the same time we can solve some what if situation. If your watershed is like this, and if you change some land use, how the runoff will change. So that can be a situation. These what if conditions can be developed with the help of scenario if you are having some model. So in case of rainfall runoff modeling, in this part I will just talk about rainfall runoff model. So they are either physical or mathematical. So in physical model, we construct some model. You might be heard that that Central Water Power Research Station, that Pune, they construct the dam and etc. So they construct physical structure with some scale and do the exercise. So they are physical model, but mathematical models are represented with the help of some mathematical equations. And in rainfall runoff modeling case, we use mostly these mathematical models. So mathematical model on the basis of description, how we describe the physical process of in the watersheds. So they are either empirical or data driven, then conceptual or physically based. So these can, on the basis of physical process, we can classify these model for these three groups. So these are the SWOT analysis of these models. So empirical models use linear, non-linear relationships. Sometimes artificial neural networks type of things are used. In conceptual model, we represent whole watersheds in some concept, like some reservoir or series of reservoir. And in physical models, all these water process happening in this watersheds, it is determined through some physical process and some mathematical equation. Empirical models are simple, conceptual are easy, but physical models are a difficult model, but they give information of all the processes are happening in this watershed. So if infiltration part, if your groundwater part, All these are covered in physical model, but they are complex. Data requirement is very high. These are some example. You can see that curve number, SCS model, Clark model, tank model. So they are these first two models are this empirical. Clark, tank, AWVM, they are conceptual one model. Then MIC, SWAT, and VIC, variable infiltration capacity. These models are physical models. So in this physical models, we require lot of information. Other classification, either they are lumped model or semi-distributed or distributed. So in lumped model, all the parameters we give for single parameters for a watershed. But in semi-distributed, we give water informations. They are on semi-distributed. They are distributed on the basis of sub-watershed. But in distributed model, we give information for pixel to pixel. For all the pixels, we give, if we give land use, we give for all the pixels or all the part of watershed. Similarly, soil type, we give all the pixels or part of the watershed. So these semi-distributed models and distributed models, they give more better results. At the same time, they require more information also. So this is what is the difference of all these models, that is lumped, semi-distributed, and distributed. Another classification way is that randomness. Some models are deterministic type of models, and some models are stochastic models, where statistics take care of all these processes. They can also be classified either as event model or continuous model. Some models are for some single event, a rainfall comes and what is runoff we get. But in continuous model, they run on daily basis. So on each day, we get what is the output. This is some techniques we use for optimization of models, because what happens in models, we describe all the process with the help of some mathematical equations. In this mathematical equations, we have some parameters. So these parameters are not well-defined parameters. They are having some ranges. So for these ranges, we have to do some optimization so that we can fix what is the value of that parameter. So for example, if we use this very simple model, y is equal to mx plus c. So runoff is equal to a straight line fitting, and m is the slope and c is that ordinate. So that whenever you have some data, then you have to require the values of m and c. So these m and c are the parameters of that model. So similarly, when complex model are there, they are having parameters for all these processes. And these parameters, determination of these parameters, we either use optimizing technique or sometimes non-optimizing technique through deterministic or statistical approach. This is the concept that how that physical based model works. So in physical based model, whenever this rainfall comes from the atmosphere, first initial part is stopped at canopy, then that is stop snow melt model is there. So these are some parts of that big model, big physical model. Here these are the sub models. So this snow melt model do snow melt part, then overland flow model will do overland flow part, then root zone models taken care of soil, then groundwater model will take care of groundwater, and at the end all these integration we will get runoff at the outlet of watershed. These are the information, because I have already told that lot of data is required. These data should be spatially distributed. So these are the different sources where we can get data on a spatial scale. So DEM we require. So DEM you can get from different sources. I will send this presentation to Dr. Bikram Prasad. So if you want, you can get from Dr. Bikram Prasad. Land use information you can get for your watershed. soil databases are also available, and some observation runoff data is available on India Virus site. And runoff you can get from the field, otherwise you can get from water resource department, government of which state you are working at. Biometric data is also important. IMD is the having that station data as well as gridded data, and the number of websites are there where you can get that rainfall, precipitation, temperature, wind speed, all these data which are used as a input for model. So one very important thing is selection of model, because there are a lot of models are available. You just type rainfall runoff models in on internet, and you will get that number of models are there. But selection model important, because it depends on objective. What is your objective? If I am using any event-based model, that will not be useful for water resource planning. Event-based model are useful for flood studies. At the same time, data availability. What data you are having? If you are not having data available which required for physical based model, you cannot run that physical based model. Then skill, definitely, because it is not very simple process. So understanding of hydrological process within the watershed is very much essential. So skill and budget, how much cost is required, and software at the same time scale. At what scale you are working, it is very important. If you are working for whole MP, then you have to choose models which work on coarse scale. But if you are working for very simple 500 square kilometer watersheds, then you go for detailed model. So whenever you start rainfall runoff modeling, these are the processes that you have to follow. First one is selection of model. So I have told that selection is depend on your objectives. Then data collection. You have to see which model you are using. So accordingly collect the data. Then build the model. Then sensitivity of parameters. I have already told that each models have number of parameters. So you have to select which parameters are sensitive for your watershed. So sensitivity analysis you have to do. Then model calibration and validation. Model calibration means you have to calibrate your parameters. In that model calibration, we can change our parameters so that our model gives good result, near to actual. And in validation, that calibrated parameters, we use some independent data, and we will see that how model is working. So in that way, whole the process is carried out for rainfall runoff modeling. I am having just, I think, 9 minutes. So it is, you can see here, very simple model where that rainfall and runoff is through two equations. So we cannot say that a simple line can determine the model. Here for this work, we are having another one equation. For next part, we require another. So sensitivity analysis, with the help of sensitivity analysis, we found out parameters which are sensible to our watershed. Here we can see that there is one parameter and there is another parameter. So one parameter, with changing the parameter, our runoff changing very fast. So in that means this parameter 1, it is more sensitive, but parameter 2, it is not changing much. With change of parameter 2, runoff is not much changing. It means that parameter 1, we have to concentrate it more. So in that process, we use precipitation as an input, and we got runoff in that hydrological model with the help of some equation. And in calibration, our goal is to minimize this error, because Q observed is equal to Q measured plus some error, because we cannot exactly predict observed runoff. It is having some error. Or calibration means fixing of parameter in such a way so that our error is minimum. So what we do, we develop model, we give our data, we set some parameter, and we see the what are the output. And for these output, we see some goodness of fit tests we do. For that, we use sum of squared of error. So what is measured and what is simulated, then coefficient of determination, chi-square, Nash-Sutcliffe efficiency. It is one of the most useful in rainfall runoff modeling. So we use that Nash-Sutcliffe efficiency. So if that efficiency is more than 70%, it means your model is rightly calibrated. So after that calibration, that we do not change that parameter, but now we use some independent data. So if we are having rainfall or the runoff data for 1990 to 2015, so we use 1990 to 2005 data for calibration. Once our model is calibrated, so 2010 to 15, this data we use for validation. In that we do not change, we will not change any parameters, and we see if at the same time our results are good, it means your calibration is okay. Otherwise, again recalibrate it, change again the parameters, and again get validation. So there are a lot of models are there. One model is that SWOT model, soil and water analysis tool. It requires lot of information, and it gives results for groundwater, surface water, soil moisture, water quality, etc. Thank you very much. I am having lot of things to tell, but as it is a first on rainfall runoff model, just then and 5 minutes are remaining. Just I can say that all the participants, they please explore the possibility of rainfall runoff modeling in their work. Also, other models are also there. If you go for that soil erosion, then you can use universal soil loss equation, where this spatially distributed model will give you that from where that soil loss is more. And a number of models, some water quality models are there, flood models are there. For flood dynamics, HEGRAS is there, from which you can determine that if your dam is breached, then how much area will be inundated downstream of the dam. So a lot of models are there. So now I request that if any question, then anybody can ask in that time remaining.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. One question is from my side, sir. So students are always interested for the career points of view. So I want to ask the students how they can make career in this modeling, sir. Please.
Nowadays, that I have earlier told that all these water resource departments and even private organizations also, they require that modelers. If you are competing for any MPPSC or UPSC, there, if you know, I suggest all these students, please read all these modeling at least initial, because if you know that modeling, then you will get an ace during your test, at the same time during your interview. Because I have seen, we have taken trainings for newly recruited water resource engineer in Madhya Pradesh and other part also, and students of that IES aspirants or selected IES in NWA, National Water Academy. There I have seen that who they are competing or who are there, they selected, they know the modeling, because that modeling work you will get an ace at the time of your interview. If you are in interview, somebody asks Do you know models? If you say yes, I know, and I know these models, definitely you will have an ace. So please you please study that rainfall runoff model. And in my presentation, I have given my numbers and email. I request Dr. Prasad that please circulate to all. And if you are having any doubt, you can ask me later.